Respected elders, educationists, dear students, welcome. In this class, we are going to say defining relative classes part 2, in which we are going to see how we have to use the relative pronouns which and that to refer to things. Come, relative classes. Relative classes. Relative classes part 2, not live video. Video 291, 292, dated 19/8/2024. Relative classes, Perichathoda. Part 2, defining relative classes, things. That is, the, the uses of what relative pronouns are used to refer to things. First, let us see subject. Either which or that can be used as the subject. But which is the more formal? Say, my dear students, who can use either which or that to refer to things as subjects. But which is more formal? That that is informal and is more used in a spoken English and in informal English. You see, this is the picture which caused such a sensation. It is formal. This is the picture that caused such a sensation. Use it is which is used. It is more formal grammar, but that is the informal and in ordinary speech that is more used than as objects. Object of your work, which or that are no relative to many students, recording subject which or that are used, but most in informal English that is more used as objects. Which that are used, and sometimes both which and that are totally removed. Without which and that, who can frame English sentences both in speech and writing? Which or that are no relative at all. Let us see that the car I hired broke down. The car I hired broke down. This sentence, this is a relative class. The car I hired broke down. I hired broke down is a relative class. You see, the car broke down is the main class. I hired is the relative class. This class can be expressed in three forms of sentences. You see, the car which I hired broke down. The sentence, the car I hired broke down, can be expressed as like this. The car which I hired broke down. Or the car that I hired broke down. Or the car I hired broke down. That is the sentence. So the car I hired broke down can be expressed in three ways, but the meaning is the same. The car I hired broke down. Which the car which I hired broke down. It is formal. It is formal English. The car that I hired broke down. It is the informal English. That is speech mostly used in ordinary speech. And also without which and that, without the object which and that, who can frame English sentence? A complex sentence. The car I hired broke down. All these three sentences give the same meaning. Note here. That is, one which is followed by, say, which is hardly ever used of us. That is, after the after the after the words all, everything, little, much, none, no, and compounds of no, or after superlatives. After these words, which is not used. After these words, all, everything, little, etc., or the superlative degrees, which is not used. Here, mostly that is used, and sometimes even that too is omitted. Without that, who can frame this kind of defining classes? You see, that is after the words all, everything, little, etc., which the relative pronoun as object is not used. After these words, only that is that as object is used. And in some cases, that too also is omitted. Let us see the examples. All the apples that fall are eaten by pigs. All the apples that fall are eaten by pigs. Here, that is must to refer to apples. Here, that must be used, should be used. In another sentence, this is the best hotel that I know. Ah, this is the best hotel I know. Here, the best is the superlative degree. So, here, if you want, we can use that. If you think that is not necessary, then we can omit it. So, this sentence. This is the best hotel that I know. Here we can write this sentence, we can express the sentence without that. This is the best hotel I know. So we will say in a subject both which and that can be used, but which is more formal, that is informal, and also without which and that. A defining relative classes can be used to refer to things. Which are that object of a preposition. Object of a preposition. In English, in formal English, preposition plus which. Preposition plus which is used in formal English. But in informal English and in spoken English, the preposition is often placed at the end of the relative class. And in speech, instead of which, that is mostly used. And in some cases, both which and that, both the relative pronouns which and that are totally omitted. Let us see the examples. The ladder I was standing on began to slip. The ladder I was standing on began to slip. This sentence, without any change in meaning, can be expressed in four ways, including this sentence. Okay. The ladder on which I was standing began to slip. Uh, the ladder which I was standing on began to slip. That is, in sentence 1, the preposition stands before which. In sentence 2, the preposition on has been placed at the end of the relative class. In sentence 3, the relative pronouns that has been used instead of the relative pronoun which. The ladder that I was standing on began to slip. And sentence and 4, that is this sentence. The ladder I was standing on began to slip. So, this sentence, the meaning of that is this sentence, the idea of this sentence, the meaning of this sentence can be expressed in four ways. The ladder on which I was standing began to slip. The ladder which I was standing on, the ladder which I was standing on began to slip. The ladder on which I was standing, the ladder which I was standing on. So this preposition has been placed at the end of the class. So here in that example, that has been used instead of which. And in the fourth, there is no relative pronoun has been used. You see, who can frame a sentence either for things or for human beings. In these four kinds of ways, who can frame sentences. When the relative pronouns is used as the object. Let's just say, whose plus a class is possible. Normally, whose plus a class is possible in possessive class. But who plus a phrase is more usual. And whose plus a class is possible. But mostly, who plus a phrase is used by people. A house whose walls are made of glass. A house whose walls are made of glass. It is possible. But in normal usage, a house with glass walls. It is the normal use. Here, whose is the possessive and walls are made of glass, a glass. In the second example, glass walls is a phrase. Glass walls is a phrase with plus glass walls. Whose plus a class with plus a phrase. This form is more used than this one. Then relative adverbs. My dear students, when, where, and why can also be used in defining relative classes. Let us see how they can be used. First, let us see where we can use when. That is, in which or on which. That is, in which or on which. The phrase in which or on which can be replaced by the relative pronoun when. When this is in which or on which is used to refer time. When in which or on which is used to refer time. In which or on which can be replaced by the relative adverb when. Example, see the example. The year in which he was born. Here, the in which can be replaced by the year when he was born because it refers to time. the day on which they arrived, the day when they arrived. Here, in which has been replaced by one. The on which has been replaced by one. So, one on which or in which is used to refer to time. The in which or on which can be replaced by the relative adverb when. Then, when at which or in which, at which the phrase, at which or in which is used to refer place. At which or in which is used to refer the place. That at which or in which can be replaced by where. When on which or in which is used to refer to time, where in which or on which can be replaced by when. But at which or in which is used to refer to place, where at which in which can be replaced by the relative adverb where. Let us see the example. The hotel in or at which they were staying. The hotel in or at which they were staying can be written like this. The hotel where they were staying. The hotel at which they were staying. The hotel in which they were staying can be expressed as the hotel they were staying. The hotel where they staying. In which they were staying, where they were staying. So, okay, then for which can be replaced by why. For which, the phrase for which can be replaced by the relative pronoun why. For which was he punished? For which he was punished can be replaced by why he was punished. For which that is one why can be used instead of for which. That is for which can be replaced by why. For which was he punished can be written as why was he punished. When, where, and why used in this way are called relative adverbs. When, where, and why are used in this way are called relative verbs. Many students, as you have seen, how the relative, how the relative pronouns, which and that, are used to refer to things. How which and that are used as subjects, and how they are used, which and that, how they are used as objects. My dear students, when which or that are used as subject to refer to things, which is more formal. Only in formal English, which is used to refer to things. So, you see, the book which I bought yesterday is this. This is more formal. The book that I bought yesterday is this. This is more formal. The book that I bought yesterday is this. This is informal, but this is more useful. This kind of construction is mostly used in informal English. And even in a very high advanced stage, the book I bought yesterday is this. That is, there is no which or that. There is no relative pronouns. So, in English, I mean, to refer to things as subjects, we can use which or that. But using which is formal, but using that is informal and are more used than which. And in most of the cases, both which and that, both the relative pronouns are omitted. The book which I bought yesterday is this. The book that I bought yesterday is this. The book I bought yesterday is this. The same content can be expressed in these three ways, but which is more formal? That is grammatical. There is not used more in informal. What is spoken English? As that. And that, if that too is taught, omitted in modern English, even defining relative classes. The book I bought yesterday is this. So I like it. And also, my dear students, regarding preposition, in formal English, preposition plus is form. But mostly, the preposition is placed at the end of the relative class. That is possible. You see, the ladder on which I was standing began to slip. The ladder on which. This is formal. But it can be expressed like this also. The ladder which I was standing on which I was standing, which I was standing on, begin to slip. So the preposition on can either be placed before the before the relative pronoun, which are at the end of the relative class. I mean, the ladder on which I was standing at began to slide. The ladder which I was standing on began to slide. Or yet, the relative pronoun which can be replaced by that. That is more formal. I mean, more informal. The ladder that I was standing at, and yet in advanced stage, the ladder I was standing at, the ladder on which I was standing at, the ladder, the ladder on which I was standing at, the ladder I was standing at, the ladder that I was standing at, the ladder I was standing at. We can express the same meaning, I mean, the same idea, the same content can be expressed in these four ways in English. It will be very helpful either to speak or to write. Look, have it in mind. It is very important. That is, my dear students, relative classes are very, very important. Without the relative classes, we can't express ideas coherently. We can't express bit by bit ideas. So most of the ideas we can't express in simple sentences. Complex sentences, that is, the complex sentences having the relative classes, that is, both the defining and non-defining classes, and connective glasses are more important. Now we are seeing the relative glasses. Defining relative glasses we have seen for persons and for things. In the first class, we have seen defining relative classes for persons. In the second class, we have seen relative pronouns, I mean, defining relative classes for things. Without, without relative classes, particularly defining relative classes, you cannot give the full meaning of what we want to say. So, my dear students, catch it. Go through it again and again. How the relative pronouns who, who, whose, and that are used for human beings. And how the relative pronouns who and that are used for things, both as subjects and objects, and also as possessive. Clear a full picture of it. In the next class, we are to see, uh, I mean, indefinite. Definite, defining relative classes we have seen. Indefining relative classes. We are to see in the next class. My dear students, I thank all of you for listening to this class. Till I meet you in the next class, I wish all of you a very nice and sweet time. Thank you.